Hey, what's up you guys? It's Eddie. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. This week's video is not the art supplies video that I promised last week. Shocker. This happens all the time. So what happened was that video ended up taking me a lot longer to edit than I initially thought it would, and film as well, especially because my phone kept running out of storage and then it wouldn't airdrop to my Mac. So that took a very long time to figure out. Did you know? I don't know what it is. I had so many things on my Mac that were literally just called like frame zero, that were like, I mean, one of them was 89 megabytes. What is it? I had no idea what that was. It was taking up so much space, and there were like 20 of them. They are nothing. I click on them, they do nothing. I don't know what those are for. I deleted them, so if you're a Mac expert, and I shouldn't have, they're gone. What did I do? But what are they? Where were they coming from? That was insane to me. I really did not like that. Anyways, point is, it's Friday morning, right? So I have to get a video out for Patreon so you guys can still have a video on Saturday, because there's no way that the art supplies video is going to be done for today. So, and initially recording for that video have some speed paint footage that you guys are seeing right now. It's just a Marceline screenshot redraw that I did the initial sketch on TikTok Live and was going to render for that video. You guys are seeing it now because I thought it would be the perfect background to talk about a video that I've been meaning to make for a very long time. Because if you are new to the channel, you might not know, or maybe if you're not new but like you haven't been here for years and years, I did a video a long time ago on my channel where I reviewed Medibang for the first time, and I said that I regretted buying Procreate. And as you can tell by every video after that, that is not necessarily true. I actually really love Procreate. But when I initially got my iPad and initially was using Procreate, I really did not like it. And I was trying everything under the sun, trying to find an alternative that was similar to what I was used to, which was Paint Tool Sai. But I did not find it, and I kept coming back to Procreate. But anyways, before I tell you why I kept coming back, let me talk to you about why I didn't like it initially. What bothered me so much about Procreate that I felt the need to say that I regret spending the meager $10 that I spent on this app. So, the first thing I didn't like about Procreate upon downloading it was that it was too simple. And what I mean by that is like everything was hidden away from me. As an Paint Tool Sai user, I was so used to everything being on screen, from my layers to my colors to my my blend modes, that literally everything was visible to you on screen. I would set it up so that my colors and my layers were visible on one side, and then my brushes and the brush sizes, my reference, everything was off to the left. Like all the more fiddly bits of the program were over there. And that was perfect on desktop where you had everything visible and then you still had this large canvas space in the middle to work on. I really liked that. So when moving into Procreate, I was confused because when you open Procreate for the first time, you can't really see anything. I was having to Google things like, where's the lasso tool? Where's the eyedropper tool? To figure out how to use the program at all, which is kind of standard. I mean, you're always going to struggle with stuff like that, but with with any new program switch, like I had to do that with Medibang, I had to do that with Ibis, I had to do that with Clip Studio, but it was significantly more so for Procreate because it is so simple. Literally nothing is immediately visible on screen other than little icons, and I didn't know what those meant at first. So it was really disrupting my workflow, my creative process. Everything was getting slowed down because I was constantly working on something, and then I'd be like, oh, I don't really like that, I need to erase it, where's the eraser? Oh, I don't really like that, I need to distort it, where's the lasso tool? Okay, I found the lasso tool, how do I distort stuff? How do I copy paste? Everything is so confusing. It's all gone. I don't know where anything is. I really didn't like it. So that is kind of what made me prefer things like Medibang and Ibis Paint over Procreate, because everything was immediately visible to me on screen, right? So I liked that. Something I also really didn't like about Procreate was how different brushes function in Procreate as opposed, again, to Paint Tool Sai, which is what I was used to. I think Paint Tool Sai has something embedded in those brushes, okay? Because every single type of brush, no matter what it is, what type of brush you're using. It could be your sketch, it could be your line art, it could be your paint. Everything works perfectly. The stabilization on your line art is so smooth, it's so crispy, it's so beautiful, it's not pixelated at all. A painterly blush like practically blends for you. Everything's amazing, it's gorgeous. Back on like the more popular days of like early Tumblr, like 2013 to 2016 type, you could not go 5 minutes on that site without seeing somebody's paint tool side brush, or like, you know, their like tutorial where they're like, this is the brush that I use, and blah blah blah, and you could download it and it would work perfectly and it would be your new favorite brush because every brush worked so amazingly in that freaking program. But then going into Procreate, I didn't like a single brush. And that was because, again, I was a more painterly style artist. Was I good at it at the time? No. But was it the type of way I liked to work? Yes. So when I got into Procreate and I couldn't blend anything for the life of me, even with the painterly brushes, I was like, what? What is this? I hate it. And I had to completely alter my art style because, again, I was moving. Well, did I mention this? I might have mentioned this in a different recording. Even as I was using things like Medibang and Ibis and like trying everything under the sun, I kept going back to Procreate, right? So because I kept going back to Procreate, but because I couldn't work the way that I wanted to, I had to drastically alter my art style. I switched from being completely painterly to doing line art and cell shading, which is nice in other people's art, but it was not, I did not like doing it. I didn't like doing it, and I didn't think it looked good. It wasn't the type of work that I wanted to be making, but I literally did not have a choice because I kept coming to Procreate. I kept preferring Procreate over the other ones despite me really not liking anything about it at the time, which I don't know why I kept insisting on trying to learn it. I think I have an inkling, so I'll get to that when we talk about why I like it now. But I don't know. I just kept coming to it, and having to change my art style really upset me. The last thing that really upset me was the shortcuts. They were really confusing. I know they're just a tap, but it's like 2 taps versus 3 taps versus 4 versus like all the drag down menus. I don't use any of those because those confuse me. Like the shortcuts, those are complicated. I still don't understand them, but that's on me. That's not on Procreate. I'm sure like somebody smarter than me could understand how to use them. But even then, you know, trying to remember, okay, this is my undo, this is my redo, this is my eraser, this is that, this is this, versus when before it was just a simple tap, okay, undo, tap, undo, Control Z, undo, Control Y, redo, right? So trying to remember, okay, tap, double, triple, whatever. That was confusing to me. It became second nature now. Like, we've all seen memes where like people would try to double tap to undo on paper and stuff like that. I do that now as well. But when I first switched over to it, oh good god, I was really getting frustrated with this program in the beginning. But if you can't already tell by now, ultimately, all of the things I did not like about Procreate at the time simply boiled down to me being unfamiliar with both Procreate and also my iPad, like understanding how things worked differently on there versus on a tablet like I was so used to. So eventually, with me grinding and learning and understanding, I came to realize, you know, I don't actually dislike Procreate. In fact, I think I love Procreate. So let us talk about why I've decided that I actually do, in fact, love Procreate. So, shocker, the first thing, actually, that I like about Procreate is what I initially really disliked about it, and that is the UI. When I first downloaded Procreate, like I said, I didn't like that everything was hidden. So I kept trying to use things like Medibang and Ibis because they had everything on screen. But what I learned over time was that an iPad is much smaller than a computer. Your screen is much more, first of all, it's much more directly in your face. Like if you're using like a plug-in like screen tablet, it's a little bit different than using your iPad. It's right there in your face, right? And also it's much smaller. So like all the text and everything, it got very overwhelming, incredibly overstimulating eventually. I think it's why Clip Studio has taken to having like a simple mode and then like the regular mode where it kind of like mimics Procreate's simple UI, because it can be incredibly overstimulating to have everything in your face on such a small scale. So having everything be kind of hidden away once you kind of learn where everything is, it's not a problem. It's actually much more preferable to be able to see just your artwork. Like, there's even a mode where you can tap and have the toolbar gone, so it's literally just your piece. You can't even see like the brush slider and things like that. You can get even more simple than it already is. And I think that's really beneficial, especially again on the small scale that you're working on, as opposed to a larger scale with a computer. So I really like how simple Procreate's UI is now. You just have to learn where stuff is, and once you do, it's easy peasy. Speaking of easy peasy, the app is just easy to use in general. The shortcuts, importing brushes, all of that is so easy to do. I will again use Clip Studio as an example. Their asset library stresses me out. I don't know what it is. Every time I go in there, I feel like somebody's yelling at me. I feel like every single brush is screaming at me to download it. And then I try to download it and I don't understand how. It's confusing. Again, it's one of those things where I haven't used Clip Studio a lot. I'm sure if I sit down and learn how to use it more properly, it won't be so overwhelming. But using Procreate now and then going into trying Clip Studio Paint every so often, it's stressful. It's stressful and it's confusing and it scares me. Versus I can just go into Gumroad and type Procreate brush and scroll through and then find a brush, and it's easy peasy. You can do that for Clip Studio too, but they push the asset library. They want you to use their asset library. So if you want us to use it, don't make it so scary, please. I don't know what it is about it. It stresses me. It really does. So I really like how easy it is to just like go find a random person's Procreate brush and import it. Speaking of brushes, the smudge tool. I love the smudge tool in Procreate, which if you are unfamiliar with like the lore of the smudge tool, in any other program, more specifically in programs like Sci and Photoshop, I don't know if it's the same for Medibang or Clip Studio and Ibis, but in the major programs at the time when I was first getting into digital art were Paint Tool, Sci, and Photoshop. And you wouldn't want to touch the smudge tool with a 10-foot pole, okay? The smudge tool was atrocious. So I never even thought to use it in Procreate until one day I got fed up with doing cell shading and line art. And then I was like, there's got to be a way to make painterly art in Procreate, because when you download the app, you can see it. Because when you first download Procreate, there's like inspo pieces that the library comes with. So I was like, you can see it. People are doing it. How? Explain. I'm getting frustrated. So I watched a tutorial, and then they busted out the smudge tool. And I was like, excuse me? You can do that in Procreate? You can use the smudge tool? Okay. Interesting. And then I started using it and I was like, oh my god. It's amazing. That if you want to blend, that I feel like they should just rebrand that in Procreate to the blend tool, because that's what it is. It is so easy to use. It makes everything blend so beautiful, creamy, gorgeous, like, especially with the brush that I have on it. You'll see that next week. I really like it. So I was able to finally get my painterly style back. I still use line art because I'm used to doing it now, but as far as my shading and stuff goes, I can do everything a lot softer, a lot smoother, a lot prettier. I love it so much. So that's no longer an issue for me anymore, because I've found brushes that work for me, and then I can make them blendy smoothie like Sci. I do have to still do it manually, but at this point it's fun for me. I like to do that. I look forward to that part. So I very much enjoy that. And then the last thing that I enjoy about Procreate is just how like simple it is, in the fact that you pay for $10 one time and then you never have to pay for anything again. Let me explain. Clip Studio, their subscription model. Everything's a subscription model now. I hate it. It's really stupid. So I like that you just have to pay $10 for Procreate one time, and every update after that does not cost you any extra money. That's amazing. That's gorgeous. That's beautiful. Something that does irritate me a little bit is that Pocket, like if you want to get it on your phone, is another $10, because it's technically a different program. I don't know why it's not still Procreate on you. Like, I don't know if it like works differently. Probably it does, but anyways, still, that's $10 the one time, and then every update to Pocket after is free, right? But Clip Studio with their subscription thing, Ibis Paint X, man, I got so angry the other day because I was just trying to make a meme. I was just trying to be funny. I was just trying to be silly, but I didn't want it to look deep fried. So I was like, I'm gonna do like a 3:4 ratio HD canvas because I like, and this isn't hyper HD ultra 4K nonsense, right? This is like your standard 720p or something like that, like just an HD canvas. Tell me why it said Pro next to it, and I click on it thinking that it's gonna be an ad like it is for their brushes, and then it wants me to buy Pro. If you are going to lock something as basic as a standard definition canvas behind a paywall, just get Procreate. Don't even think about it with Ibis, because as good as Ibis is as a program, it's okay. Procreate is so much better. Procreate is so much better than Ibis Paint X. If you're gonna have to pay for something, pay for Procreate, because it is just a marginally better program. And also because just like morally wise, that is so annoying to me. Oh, you want your art to look good? You have to pay for it. You can't market yourself as a free program and then lock standard definition behind a paywall. That's annoying. That made me so mad, and I don't think it used to be the case. I think they recently added that, because I used to use Ibis on my phone, and it was easy peasy. So the fact that I saw that, I was like, what? Excuse you? No, no. Procreate doesn't do that. You pay the $10 one time, and you can make your canvas whatever size, as long as your iPad can handle it. So that frustrated me to no end. So yeah, it's they don't like charge you up the butt for using their program, or like try to get money out of you in really weird and suspicious ways. I think that Procreate is very good. And also, they hate AI, which I think is a big slay. Like, I remember when there was like a rumor going around that Procreate was gonna add like AI updates, and they were like, absolutely not, we are never gonna do anything AI involved in our program. And somebody was like, yeah, like blah blah blah. I don't remember exactly what was said. It was like a TikTok, but somebody was trying to say Clip Studio doesn't use AI, and I was like, there's literally an AI tool that colors for you on Clip Studio. Like, I think they were trying to say that Procreate actually does support AI, and that like they said something about Procreate supports AI and Clip Studio would never. Yeah, they would. They did. They have. They are. So I don't know what they were talking about. But Procreate hates AI. So that's an ad for us, if you ask me. Again, this isn't like a Clip Studio hate video. I just there's some, when it comes to comparing programs, Procreate is the one that goes on top for me for iPad. Despite me making several videos about how I disliked it in the beginning, and have never made a video clarifying that actually no, I do. I love Procreate. I have like my Procreate process and everything like that, but I don't have a video saying like, hey psych, I actually really love Procreate. So that's what this video is. That is what you've just watched. I hope you enjoyed your speed paint. I hope you enjoyed me ranting about this app that I love and found it silly that I talked about how much I disliked it for so many years, despite still continuing to use it and never giving up on it. If you're excited for the art supplies video, if you want to see all the things I use both traditionally and digitally, stick around for next week, because it is going to be next week. I did finish, well, I haven't finished, but I mean, it's, by the time it's next week, it will be done. It's very nearly finished. It just was, it needs to go up today, and it's not ready for today. Anyways, that's enough ranting. If you want to see that, subscribe so you can see that next week. Like the video if you like this video. Huge shout out to my patrons. You guys are amazing. You make it possible for me to ramble about absolutely nothing for minutes on end. I love you guys so much, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.